Hi, everybody. June here from Red Daisy Crafts. So glad to be with you today. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. I've been kind of battling a little bit of, I don't know, some kind of stomach something. We're still not totally back to normal yet, but we are getting there slowly. So really glad to be here. And I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping before we go down to the table and get started. Just a reminder that the June subscription period will end in 2 days. 2 days you have to get your June paper pumpkin subscribed. So if you put a pause or you're new and you want to give it a go, please make sure that you go to your account and make any adjustments that need to be made. It's always a great time to just check out and make sure that things are set up the way that you want them. And just for those that are new to Paper Pumpkin, once you subscribe, you can pause, you can stop, you get to decide every month what you want once you subscribe. So I love the flexibility of it, and I wanted to just show you the sneak peek of the June kit. And it looks really beautiful. There's going to be some gold foiling and some really rich, beautiful colors in the kit next month. So really excited to get the kit. I've also ordered the coordinating kit or bundle, I should say, that is available in the exclusives. It won't be available to non-demonstrators until July, but it was available in the pre-order, so I have ordered that. So I'm really excited to have that in my hands so that we can also bring that into the alternate projects for June. So I am going to bring us down to the table. I have some really fun things ready to go today. And I am going to put us down to the table. So let's do that. All right. So hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I hope you'll give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from or watching from, I should say. I am going to be bringing in a couple of things, a couple of other bundles this week for the kits, for the alternates that we have for you. So the first one is Encircled in Nature. This, I believe, is a retired kit or bundle, but we are going to be utilizing it today, and I'm excited to do that with you. And if you have this bundle from before, it's a really beautiful one, and I had not used it but thought it would go really well for some of these in here, especially the trees that are in the dies. Okay, so they're not really showing in the stamp set themselves, but except this one here, and then these trees here we're going to use as well, but really looking forward to that. So I wanted to just mention that. Then I am also going to be utilizing the Scenic Adventure, and I believe this is currently a part of the online exclusives. And what I loved about this, it was these trees that are in here. And I used a couple of the stamps that are in the kit, so, or in this bundle, but I loved these clouds here in here, and the trees themselves are really nice, and this little cluster of flowers, you'll see that pop up too. So hey, Wanda, great to have you us this evening. And then I also brought in the sentimental framing. I don't know if you've seen these, but these are part of the new catalog. And what I loved is the detail in these dies. And so we're going to be bringing those into one of the projects today. So I just wanted to mention them to you up front and let you know, like, we're going to be going a little bit off stage for these projects. And to get us started, I'm going to start with a project that is utilizing this card base from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. And so we're going to get started with that. This one is a bit of a fun fold. And so let me show you what I have designed. I'm really happy with how this came out, but here is the card itself that I designed. And oh no, Wanda, I wasn't here last week. I was sick. I just haven't been feeling good, and I am getting better, but just I needed to take last Sunday off. So just getting back, this is the card we're going to be utilizing, the Encircled by Nature, and it folds out like this, so pops open, and then this one folds out into that page. So I'm really pleased with how this came out, and so we're going to create this card. I have a few differences that we're going to do just in giving you the ability to just see maybe a different background in this opening here. Okay, and so instead of the more misty moonlight color here, we're going to use the Lost Lagoon in that on the one we're going to create together, but everything else will generally be the same, or at least that's the plan. So let's go ahead and get started with that. We are going to be using a piece of cardstock that is 12 inches by 5.5 inches. That's going to be the base for our cards at this moment. So I have a piece of Misty Moonlight that was 12 by 12, and I'm going, oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just been kind of a little mystery thing that I'm trying to figure out. So again, this is going to be cut at 5.5 inches, and it is 12 inches long. All right, and we're going to keep that full width, because that's what helps to create the card and the design that we have. So I wanted this oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I wanted this inside piece here to be the 4.25 inches. That is the standard width of a card, for just the medium envelope. And then what I did was, we're going to score the front is at 4 inches. And then this other piece, I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to score at 3 3/4 inches. So let's go ahead and do that part here. So we're going to have a score line at 4 inches here, and then I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to have 3 3/4. Let me just double check and make sure, because yeah, 3 3/4, and that will give us the 4.25 in the center of this card base. Okay, so it doesn't match up entirely and fold, like it doesn't meet up. So what I mean is that you have like this about 1/4 inch here, but then you also have about 5/8 5/8 of an inch here on the inside. So, but I think it's worked out just fine, and provides a really nice card layout. So let me just get my bone folder. And so we're going to fold this side in, and this is the 3 3/4 side. And then I'm going to fold the front over, and this is the 4 inches side. Okay, and so that is that piece there. All right, and then like I said, we are using the card base from the kit that is this card base. So I used part of it to create this card. Okay, so as you can see, this is the piece that was I used this side of the card base to create this one, and then now we're going to use the other side. And so there's a little bit more of the Lost Lagoon on this side, so the we don't have as much Misty Moonlight on this side, which is why I decided to use the Lost Lagoon in the circle part of this. Okay, and so we are going to go ahead and so I have the card piece here that was used for that, and then we're going to have this piece also. Then let's go ahead and see. I actually have a piece already cut. Now, there is some things here that have to be kind of like really lined up and, done properly. And so I want to make sure that I do it right the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to the 4 inches that I have for this card. And I'm just going to, it's not 4 inches, it's 3 3/4 is what we're going to trim it down to. I just want to double check if that's right, or am I doing, oh no, it's 3 7/8, 3 7/8. So we're going to trim this down to 3 7/8 and just trim that off. And then I'm going to use this piece here, and we're going to trim this to, I think it's like 3/8 of an inch, which is this piece here. So yeah, it's 3/8 of an inch on that piece. So we're just going to do that real quick right here. Just like so. And I'm just gonna trim that off. Okay. And so that is going to be the piece that will go on this portion of the card. And now we're going to go ahead and trim this down to 5. I believe I did 5 3/8 on. So let me just double do. Yeah, 5 3/8 here. So right there. And so I'm just trimming a smidge off of the sky part of the card front. So that's going to be used on the front there. And we'll just go ahead and trim this one as well to match that. And we will have 2 pieces set out. Okay. And so that's going to go just like so. Now, what other pieces do I need? So I'm going to need a piece for the inside of the card. And so this is why I have the partial envelope here. And so I do need a piece here that is 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this flap off just to get away from that score line in the flap. And so I'm going to do a 4 inches here. And then this is going to be trimmed down to 5 1/4 inches. That other edge looked a little rough, so I'm just turning this around. So I cut off the rough edge. Okay, and I'm keeping these just because who knows? Like, look here, I have all these little pieces, right? And who knows what I have left to use after these cards today. So that's that piece of it. Okay, and I already have my center piece cut out here, but we are going to need to do a tad bit of die cutting. And let me just show you the pieces that I have already cut before we do anything else. So as I showed on this card, this is from the dies from the Encircled by Nature card. And then here is the set of trees that you can see there. I just love this die for this this kit. I think it matches up very nicely. And what else? I know I have, oh, here it is. So then I have the small cluster of trees there. That is going to go on the inside here, right? Like so. And then we have this tree also. And all of these come in that Encircled in Nature bundle. And let me just grab it one more time and show you. It is this bundle right here. Okay, and those are the dies that we're using. This one here, this one, this one. And then to do the circle, it was the smaller of the two, but I used both of them to create a frame in the black. Okay, and so those are the pieces that we're going to be using. So I'm just going to move these little pieces out of the way for now, just to keep our space kind of neat. And we don't need this right now. But we're going to go ahead and put together the front so that we can do the die cut of the circle here. All right, so we are just going to glue this down right onto here, and I'm using my multi-purpose liquid glue for this, and I want this to get glued down pretty good because I am going to die cut this out. And when I did it the first time, I did it all in pieces, and I was just making myself crazy trying to make sure everything fit properly. And but we're going to put it together and just do one die cut of that piece, and then the other one will just fit perfectly in place. And so let me get that larger die out. The only thing that we have to do from a measurement standpoint is determine where we want that die to go. So, for example, I want to make sure that I'm on this part of the card base. So you see we have about 3/8 of an inch there. Okay. So whenever I put this on here, actually, I need the smaller. I got the big one. I did not mean to grab that. So I need the smaller one. I'm already going to make a mistake. So we're going to, and I'm going to cheat because I already have one made. And so I'm going to just do a little measuring of where I want this. So it's going to be like 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the front card base is how I'm going to line this up for us to do the cutting. So for example, I want my piece, and I have just done it so that the tab of the die is at the bottom here, but this is going to go about 1/4 of an inch from this edge. So we're going to cut about right there. and that will ensure that it fits fully on this other flap that's on the inside. So let me just grab my tape here so that we can just tie it down a bit. So I'm just going to have my self right there, like that. And just like I said, I'm just going to tie it down a little bit with my little Sizzix tape here, which is just like a Post-it note that you can use, or any kind of washi tape that does not, that won't tear your paper when you pull it up. So now I'm bringing in I don't want to get my drink out of the way so that I don't knock it over. But I want to bring in the die cut machine, and we're going to get this cut out. So if I can get all my things here. So I have this, and I'm undoing my whole sheet like this. So I'm just cutting through that top layer, okay? And then I'm going to put this down, and I have been needing to have like a little shimmy here. So I want to make sure I have that in here. All right, so we're going to go back and forth a couple of times just to make sure we get cut through that layer, because I have double layers here, and we want to make sure that we get through that. Okay, and I think that should be good. All right, so let's do this. Let's just go ahead and put this up. Hopefully I am not doing that too soon. But I think I got it. Yep, it's all good. All right, so I am moving this out of the way, and let me just get this back because I want that. All right, so now we have our die here, and I just want to get my little tape up, and this tape here. Okay, and now we have that piece, and I ended up using my other piece like this to cut out some flowers, which you'll see later in today's sharing. And so now we have our window cut out of our card. So now you'll see like this fits into that shape. So whenever I grab my die cut piece that I already have cut, and I just line it up into this right there, I can just push it through. Whenever we glue it down, it'll go through. But you can see here now it's fitting on this piece, where this is what I was wanting to make sure that it fits onto this page properly for what we're doing. So now we can begin to put some of these other elements together. So I'm going to bring back in my die cut pieces and my strip here. So I'm going to go ahead and add our little strip. It's just going to go right here on this edge of the card, and so again, just using the multi-purpose liquid glue. And I guess, I mean, just to be clear, like I love it because you can kind of shift things around if you need to. It gives you that little bit of extra wiggle room that's needed. And then let's go ahead and put our piece in. So just making sure I know the lineup beforehand. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And well, I want to do some stamping, so we'll do the stamping once I get it put down, but that wasn't the plan. Sorry about that. It'll all be fine. All right, so now I'm getting that in there, and now it's perfectly lined up. Okay, so just smooth that out right there so that we have a nice smooth surface for doing our stamping. Now, I have all of my stamps kind of set up, and I put them in a box because I have the kids' stamps out on the table, but I didn't want to have everything out. It's just so much. So we are using this stamp from Encircle in Nature, and it is a just a cluster of trees that are kind of like going around this circle here. And so we are going to go ahead and stamp those in. And I have my ink here. We're going to use the Lost Lagoon. I have my big stamp pad of that out here. And so let's go ahead and get my foam mat. Where did I put my foam mat? It is hiding from me. Oh my goodness. Oh, here it is. All right, so we have that right here, and we are going to open up our stamp thing there. Okay, so get our stamp nicely inked. All right, and I want to just make sure that I am on the paper, and I got it right there. Now we're just going to, I have ink all on my block right here, and I don't want to get that onto my card, so I'm trying to just be very careful. There we go. So I got a tiny bit off of there right here, but that'll be okay. But that gives you the idea. That's how that little circle of trees look. And so when you have it together, there you go. That's what it looks like. So just going along with the theme of the card and the design of the paper is what we have here. So that worked out perfectly. So the next thing we have is, and I'm just trying to make sure I have all my little pieces figured out here, is we are going to add this piece to the front. All right, and again, let me just get my things lined up to get it in order. No, that's not right. It's this right here. All right. All right, so now we know that's how that's going to go. And now we're going to just add some glue to this. And I don't need to have a lot. Just need it to have enough to hold it in place. Okay. And so, and this is going to be going right on the outside of the window. Okay. And it should fit quite perfectly. But because it is thin and the paper is flexible, you know, you have to kind of push it to its spot once you get it in here. So there we go. I think that is great. So that's what we have here. See, we have now this piece on the window. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like the trees. I like them too. All right, so we have this piece here, and then we're going to add these trees right here because we have this little space right down here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little space right here that I think is kind of weird. And so we're going to pretty much cover it up by adding these trees on top of here. Now, I did use some dimensionals on my card. And so next we're going to add the dimensionals. So I had one here that I started to, here we go, that I used to kind of cut some very thin pieces off the edge of the dimensional sheet here to kind of put it onto the branches of what we have left. So I'm just trying to cut some small pieces that will fit. So let's see here. So I know I can get one right there. And then let's see, again, just little tiny pieces. That can go right there. So this bigger, the tallest tree, pretty much it can have dimensionals all the way up if I could make them fit. So this is what I'm just trying to do right here. Guess all the little paper wants to come off of there. But I think we got that. All right, then just maybe one more. There, I think we can do one right there. Yeah. All right, now if I can, I want a little teeny tiny one here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to put that right there. All right, so that's that. Go ahead and get our paper backing off so that we have that kind of taken care of. All right, then I need, I can put one right here on this tree going across the bottom. There we go. And I'm just going to add that right there. Get the cover off. Oh, I'm stuck to it. All right. And then did I do, oh yeah, I got two more. I got to get it on these two here. And the last one, I kind of let it hang free because it's just almost impossible to get it that small. Although I feel like some of these are pretty impossible. So thanks for your patience while I'm doing this, but I also wanted you to see how I am doing this. Got the little piece over here. It doesn't want to come away. Okay, now one more little piece here. There we go. Oh my goodness, these are so tiny. All right, so I think right there. All right, so I think I got all my dimensionals on here. Okay. Oh, this one is showing, so we got to move it a little. There, I think that's better. Much better. All right, so this is just, and I am now lining up my card so that I can kind of use my grid lines to see how I am putting this on here straight. Okay, and so that is not over far enough. So let's just move it over one more. Okay, there we go. And so that is our die cut piece put right onto there. Can you see that very well? It's hard to see, but I love that, how it lays on top of there. All right. Hey, Susan. Okay, now this little small cluster of trees is going to go right here on the inside, just so it shows a little bit. Okay, and so I'm just going to use some glue for this. Oh. No, it's too much. Okay. So again, just trying to line up my card here. So I think I want it right there. So we can put those down. Okay. And so now you can see those peeking through the card there. Okay. All right, so that is that piece. Okay, now just going back to check. Okay, so we have our other little tree is just kind of going right here on this edge. Okay, so I'll just make sure those are down really good. So here I am just kind of going up the tree trunk a little bit and on some of the branches just to give it some good coverage. Okay, and I'm bringing it in there. Yeah, it looks like I had these moved over a little bit more on the other card, but this is fine. Our just tree trunk here just kind of ran into those, whereas on this other one, I have them a little bit separated. So just a little bit different in that regard. These are not laying down. Okay, now we have the inside of our card, and for that we have a piece here and then this die cut. And now for some reason, oh, here is my die cut. I was gonna say, do I have it out? So we have this piece with the die cut going on the inside, and we use the Lost Lagoon just so that it matches the other pieces in the card. Okay, just whereas on the other one I used the Misty Moonlight piece. So we have this piece going down on the inside, and this paper is lighting up. You'll be able to write a message on the inside. If you wanted, you could always add another piece of cardstock here, like a white piece, if you thought that you needed more space for a message if you wanted, but I feel like this provides me enough space for that. So here we go. We are just going to glue this down on the inside of here, like so. And I am just matching it up to the very bottom of the paper and that side because it has a true corner edge on this die cut piece. And there's actually like a little lighter bottom to it. So it really lines up nicely on here. So that is that piece of it. Okay. And so there we have that. All right. So now we have a sentiment, and I use the Happy Father's Day on this one. And we have one on the front of the card. Okay. Now, I did not cut another white circle, so I am going to just use, we're going to use a paper strip, and we are going to just do it a little bit different than the original one that I've been showing you. So I'm trying to locate my little paper strips because I have bunches of them over here. So here we go. All right, so I just need to figure out my sentiments that I want for the card. And we will use the the Lost Lagoon to stamp those for this card. So let's see here. I think we'll use You're the Greatest, I think it is. Yeah, You're the Greatest. And then on the inside, I think we'll just put I love you. Okay. So we're going to use a strip on the outside and then a strip on the inside. So I'm just going to put them at either end of this for the time being, and then we can trim the paper to fit. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so I love you is one that we're going to put on this side right there. Good. And then I think I had used this, so let me just, no, it's clean. I can't remember if I cleaned it or not. All right, so now we're going to have You're the Greatest on this side. So, perfect. All right, so I'm going to close our ink up and grab my trimmer to do some cutting. All right, so I'm just wanting to trim this off here, like so, and then turn it around and do this one. A little bit more of a tail on it. So I just don't need all of that. There we go. Make it a little more centered. Okay. All right. Oh, I have one more thing. So I have a little piece of silver foil that I just added because we're going to use some Wink Stella on it, but I liked the silver foiling with all these colors. And so we're going to add just a little strip of silver foiling onto the front. So I'm going to cut this at 7/8 of an inch to give us just a little bit of an edge on the top and the bottom of the sentiment. Okay. All right. So for here, this is going to go on here like so, and just trying to figure out placement. So we're just going to have this down here, and this is going to go right on top of that. So I'm going to glue the silver foiling down, and then we'll add the sentiment with dimensionals. Okay, so I am just doing this right here. Just want to make sure I have it straight. And there, that works great. So we have that foiling piece, and then this is going to get added with some dimensionals. My nose is running, so just get that taken care of really quick. All right, so where are my dimensionals? Here we go. All right, so we're gonna put one here, and one here, and then one here. Like that. And then we're just going to line that up. And hopefully we have it centered. So looks like we got it centered there. So you're the greatest. Okay. And then we're going to have I love you on the inside. And that's just going to go right here on this edge is where we're going to put it. Okay. And then the last bit is going to just be the Wink of Stella. Okay, so let me just kind of get this stuff out of the way, off the table anyhow. And let me bring my little paper back here. And I want to do some Wink of Stella. So just want to make sure we have stuff down in the. All right, so I'm just gonna do some flicking of the Wink of Stella onto this part here, and that will show through. All right, then I'm doing just a little bit of Wink of Stella on the trees, just to help them show up a little bit more. And hopefully you'll be able to see it in the camera, but if not, you know for your own experience that the Wink of Stella is really fantastic. So it's going to be smashing. And I just love the little extra it does for the tree pieces. So now this card, was very involved. And so we're going to keep going as much as we can. Where's my tissue here? Want to just, okay, that Wink of Stella dries quickly. All right, so we have our card base there. Oh, you can see the Wink of Stella a little bit there, but that's our card. So then you open it up, I love you, and then you have a place to write a greeting. So that is our first card for today. And so let me just put these up for now. And let's move on to our next card. So we have next I am using this card base right here. And I have two cards that we put together with that card base. And I'm excited about these. So the first one is where I've used that sentiment stamp set. Um, it is called Sentimental Framing, okay? And I really just love how this came out. So you can see here I put the clouds in, I add the birds, and I use some of the trees in the background and then some of the die cuts. But the most beautiful part is this die. I love the detail of that die. So I've done a lot of this prep already. So hopefully this card should go together fairly quickly. We just have one piece I think we're going to need to cut for the center of that goes here. Okay. But then on the inside, we just have a little nice on the inside. So and then I did color some pearls, and I don't know if these are still in the catalog or in the online store, but the blooming pearls, they're a little bit iridescent, and so I did use some of the Lost Lagoon to color some of those. So what we need for this is a piece of the envelope, and I am not sure if I have any left. So let me just grab one here. I may have to just trim this down real quick because I don't think I have any more of that shade in the, that are ready to just trim down. So I need to trim open another envelope. So let's just cut the sides off like usual here, and then we can do that real quick. So I do have 4 cards today. So I am, and this is because I wasn't here last week. So I am going to just keep going. So I know it's going to be a long one today, but I want to get these alternates done and out there for you guys. And so just know that I'm going to be going way past our normal time. So here I want to cut a piece. I'm just trying to decide how much I need for my opening. So I think I did 2 7/8 by 4 1/4 for this. So 2 7/8. So I know I did it out of this part of it. So I'm just gonna trim that off, and then we'll have that piece for something else. So 2 7/8 here. And then I'm going to trim off this little edge here, and then 4 1/4. And this is what we need for our center and the scene that we have. All right, so now let me grab my foam mat again. And where is my little messy paper that I've been using underneath? And let me get my stamps again. So now for this one, I am using the Scenic Adventures, and we're going to use the clouds, and we're going to use some of the trees, okay? And so I'm grabbing those out of here. I'm going to put our trees back. I don't need that anymore. And move that out of the way. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I just want to see my sample to remind myself what we have. So how is everybody doing? I hope you liked that first card. And we are, I don't normally bring in like things from other stamp sets very often, but I felt like I needed something to expand what the kit was possible to show. And so that's the reason for that. Now we're going to do some of these trees. So I have a very tall tree, and it's going to just go right over here on the left side, like so. And I did that first generation. The next one, I'm going to do second generation. So this is the middle size of the trees, and that is going to go right here, like so. And I got it over a little more than I had intended, but that's fine. And then this one is just going to go right here next to it. Okay, and then the only other thing that we have to stamp on here are the birds. So I'm going to put these back up because we're not going to need them. And that'll keep our space a little bit tidier. The birds, I am using Secret Sea. I haven't used any of the Incolors before with you guys, or at least I don't think I have. But I really liked Secret Sea for this because it is just a darker variation, I think, of the, the Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. Like, it's just taking it even deeper. So I'm going to put those birds right there. They're not quite up in the clouds yet, but that's where we're going to put them. All right, and then let's see. I know there is some stamping for the inside of the card. So I have a couple of things here that I'm not going to have that strip. I had that from when I cut the card. I probably should have just trimmed it in half so that I could have put it on both cards, but we're just going to go ahead and center the "You Mean the World to Me" here and add the birds. So let's see here. So we're going to go back to our, is that right? Or I'm doing that in Secrets. Oh, I did this in Secret Sea too. So we are going to just add our sentiment right in here, like so. And then we're going to add some birds. And I went back to the Lost Lagoon for that, to add the birds. So we're just using these, the smaller cluster of birds. And I just had some over here and then some over here. That's that. All right. Then the only other thing we need is a little sentiment. And I put "I love you" on this card. So I'm just grabbing some more of my little strips that I had out. And this, we are using Secret Sea. Now I need to clean my little block. Where is my cleaner? It's hiding from me. Cannot find it. So let's just make sure we have this all. Oh, I guess we were using Lost Lagoon when we did this. So, all right. So there we go. I'm just adding this. I want to just see if I can get it there. Sorry if I have my head in there. All right, so we have that "I love you," and we're going to just trim that off really quick. And then we will have done all of our stamping. So if I can get this lined up where I want it. There we go. Oh, I got too close. So let me now take just a tad off of here. There we go. Better. Okay, so I'm going to get a little drink here. So if you're watching this later, I would love to know, have you used any of these other pieces, the other bundles that I've brought in any of your other cards, or do you have them? I'm just curious. So please comment, let me know. And we're going to start to put all of our pieces together now of this card. So let's just see here. All right, so we're going to need to get some of these things lined up. Now, before I do that, I just want to poke out some of these pieces that I'm seeing are not already removed from the die cut. I absolutely love the detail of this die cut. It's so pretty. I think that's everything. Yep. All right, so just moving those little dots out of the way. All right, so the first thing I want to do is just use a bone folder on my card base because it's a little crooked. I think that helped a little. All right, so now let me just line this up here because that'll help me make sure I get everything straight on here, because we want this to go in the center of our card base. So I'm going to just get some glue on here first, and then we will go to work at seeing where we need this. So that's about right. Okay, and then it's going to be about 2. Okay, all right, so need that to be there. So I think we are pretty close to center. Perfect. So that's going to get layered on top of there like so. Okay. And we're going to put some dimensionals on here. Now, just to make it easier for myself, because I was trying very hard not to put them over any of the dots on here, I am going to use the smaller ones just to make it easier. So that, and then that. Right there. All right. So that's going to do us. Now, before I put this down, what I did on the other one was I used some white baker's twine, and I tied a bow at the top. Now I think that's enough, but since we're all the way to the end, I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to go ahead and push these through, but let me get a clean cut here. So I don't have a frayed edge. So I'm going to feed my thread through this hole. All right, and then I'm going to push it back through this hole right up here. All right, then I'm going to take it across to this side and we're going to do the same thing again. And then through this one here. All right, so now I just have this little string going across the top, and I have it I'm pulling it pretty tight so that I can tie my bow. Because I don't really want it to be loose, okay? I don't want that piece at the, I'll show you in a second when I can bring it closer. But first, let me just cut these tails off a little bit. All right. So just to show you what we have there, see the string going across, and then it came through and I have a bow at the top. Okay, that's what we have at the top, just adding a little bit of texture. So now we're going to take off all of our pieces and add our frame. So have you used this sentimental framing bundle before? I like I said, I really just think it's so pretty, the dies. Okay, so once again, lining up our card. And making sure we get everything in the frame. Oops. Okay. I think we got it. Nice. And there we have it. That's our little scene behind there, which I just love. But we have some other pieces that we're going to add to it. So let's get our other pieces. Where are they hiding? Oh, here they are. All right, so we have that. Where is our stamp sentiment that we did? We just stamped it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. What happened to that I love you? All right, let's put this down. Maybe it'll show up because it just is like hiding from me. And it's in plain sight. So if you see it, tell me where it is on the comments. But I am not seeing it. I don't think I knocked it off the table. Oh, it's on the trimmer still. I moved it away. Right there it is. Okay, so that's our inside of the card. Now this is going to go right down here like so. These trees are going to get glued onto the card base. Now, because of how I lined these up, I'm still going to put my tree pretty much at the edge and almost hanging off a little bit of the frame. And then this little guy is going to get put on with some glue dots. Okay. And what I did was just to give it a little bit of depth, I am adding the glue dots. Basically, I'm tripling them in a sense. And one of them, when I roll it up, it gives me what I need. But for the other part, I am just going to put triple onto the piece where we want the glue dot. Oh, making a mess. Keep moving this around. But there, that's our trees there at first. Okay. Then, like I said, we're gonna, so I just added the glue dot down here, and I did 3 of them. I just, I don't want to put a dimensional because a dimensional is going to show through the vellum, because I cut that out of vellum and some of the pieces from the kit. And then I'm going to roll one of these up, and that should be about the same depth as the 3 that I layered. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, and so I am just adding that right there. So that's our trees. There you can see. All right, and then we're going to add our sentiment right here. Now I'm going to use a dimensional for this right on this end. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on this side. And it's going to go right here. Like so. Okay, then I did use a blending, the Stampin' Blends. I have the alcohol markers, the Stampin' Blends. You can color the pearls with that, and get a color, a very specific color. So I'm just taking my blends, the brush tip, okay, and I am just coloring in 3 or 4 of these because I can't remember what sizes I used. And then you have a pearl now, the color that you want. So any of the blending brushes will do that. And so we are just going to add our little pearls down here. I'm just kind of tucking them in and around the I love you part here. There we go. And then one up here like so. Okay. And then that is our second card. So hopefully you can see how those pearls are placed. Very nice. That's our second card. So there you got it. All right. All right. So now I am going to put that one away, and we are going to do what I did with so the negative piece from cutting this die, we're going to create a card now using that. And let me put our pearls away. Get those out of the way. So I hope you are enjoying some of these options. So this is the card, the next card that we're going to make right here. And it might be just, we might do something a little bit different because the whole arrangement gets different. But what all I did was add like a bunch of you're the greatest at the bottom of here, just to put like a little bit of interest at the bottom of the card. And then I created another sentiment on top of there for that. And then I used some of the stamps from the oh goodness, what was this called again? The Scenic Adventure. And so I used a tree and a tree die cut from that. So I have just some different things here. So we're going to do something very similar here. But instead of doing the stamping down here, I am going to bring in a little bit of a background piece instead of doing the stamping down at the bottom, just to give you a little bit of a different option. So I am going to cut this piece right here. We're going to get a piece that we want 3 inches by 4 1/4 because I want it to go all the way across the card. So I am just trimming off the piece there with the score line. So I need 4 1/4 right here. And I'm just at the flap. Okay. And then I'm going to get 3 inches. Now I think I'm going to do this side. It will have more of the dark, I think, although that might get completely covered. So let's do this here. Since this will show more. Okay, so we have our piece here that we're going to use instead of doing a bunch of stamping on the back. This is just going to go across the card base. So I am just going to burnish the card base here. And the other side was a little bit shorter, so we're going to use this side, but this is going to go right in the center. We're just going to have that going across there before we put this down. That's going to be the one of the things that we'll do different here. I'll tell you too, I am not going to do the flowers on here because I don't have as much grass here like I had on this piece here. But these little flowers, I don't know if you can see them very well, but they are from that stamp set, the Scenic Adventure. And then I stamped it also on the envelope that was the petal pink. And then I cut out the little flowers and just pasted them on top. And so just to give a little bit of extra interest there. So on this one, we're going to do some things a little bit different, but generally speaking, it's the same layout for the card design. The only difference here is instead of having things stamped down at the bottom, this is going to be in the center of the card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. Since I was ready to do that, and we can. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on right in the center of the card. And so we're going to go right here. And I want to just make sure I have it flush because that's the best way. And that way, if there's any extra hangover, we can trim it. Okay. So I'm seeing a little bit of extra hangover up here on this one. Right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my longer scissors here. And I'm just going to trim this off of here. Just a sliver. probably could have lived with it, but I just don't want it. All right, so that is our card base for the time being. Now I'm going to get my stamping mat and get the tree out that we used. So I think it was this one, and I did do its second generation on here, but I think for this one, because I have these vellum trees, I may do it full strength so that they will kind of show in the background. So, and but I'm only going to do one on here. So let's see the placement so that I can just line it up. So I'm going to do it right up here, like so. I think that's going to work out fine. And then we'll have the placement of our vellum, and we'll have a tree. We have our little mossy meadow tree as well. All right, so that is all of that stamping. So let me see here. So instead of doing a strip of paper on this one, we're going to go ahead and just stamp at the bottom of here. You're the greatest. Okay. Actually, I think I can do your to a wonderful man. And because I think it'll fit perfectly right down here. So we're going to do that. So to a wonderful man, and we're just going to put it right on the card base and keep it simple like that. Okay. So now we have our sentiment, and the inside will be blank. Sorry. And so I think we've done all of our stamping. Okay. So now for this, what I did was I took some linen thread, and I'm also at the end of my spool of this. I'm going to put my tree stamp up, and we're going to tie the linen thread around this card piece. Okay, so whenever you get these off the spool, sometimes they are super curly, but if you just take it through your finger and your nail and kind of press it a little bit, it'll take that kinky curly out, which is what I wanted here. So we are just going to tie a bow in here, and we are going to put it on this side we're going to put it on the right side instead of the left side, since we're going to be putting our vellum trees over on that side. So it's just going to go on this side here. And I am going to go ahead and knot it just because I do want it to be taut. So pretty tight on here. And not be moving around. There we go. So now I'm going to tie our bow, and I'm just messing around with how big I want my bow to be. So now I'm just going to cut off some of the ends here. I think that's good. All right, so I think that's pretty much where I want it. And so the next thing is we're going to go ahead and put it onto our card base. Oh, I think I'm going to move it over. I did not plan for that, but I like it. It's a happy situation, I guess, that I didn't realize. All right, so I'm adding some dimensionals to the back of this, and like so. And we will get those, take these off. And now this is going to be a little bit off to the left. And as long as I have it straight, I'm good. So there we have that. And I could even try to scoot this a little bit, but because I made it tight, it's not going to scoot very good. That's okay. We're good. This is going to go right on here, like so. And I'm going to use some glue dots for this. Really is the best for the vellum because it doesn't show. You just have to make sure you get them in the right places. So, and there, that's good. I think that's enough. So I am just scooting these all the way to the bottom and making sure that other tree is just kind of coming up the center. I thought that I put a glue dot on this side, but I am not feeling it. So we're going to add one right up here. Right there. Got a piece here that didn't pop out. There we go. There we go. So I don't want it to be very tied down. I want it to have a little bit of texture to it, and movement, because I just think it gives it that much more character. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but all of these things are creating issues in my camera. There we go. Better. All right, so now we're just going to add this little guy right here with dimensionals. And so I know a little tiny one fits there. And then where is my other one where I was trimming and trimming from? Where did that go? Well, we can trim some off of here. Just need a small piece. Oops, where did it go? There we go. It flew onto my shirt and I wanted to hide. All right, so we're just going to put this right up the tree trunk, like so. And then take the little covers off. That one, and then this one. And then this is just going to go right on here, like so. And that is this card. Now, I did add to this by putting on some of the Winkostella. And so let's just do that really quick. Just give this a little couple flicks just to have it with some character. Add a little bit to one side of this tree. There we go. There we go. Now we have our finished card. Nice. All right, so I hope you can see the difference, but basically they are the same layout to a degree, and just very, very simple. Okay, simple card. All right, so I'm going to put these away, and we're going to move on to our next card. And so we've done 2 of the 3 card bases, and I just have one more that I wanted to do. And so I have a card that I started to design at the last, and so I want to create that with you. And So I have all my little pieces here to put the card together. So we're going to use a card base. It's basic black. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches. And I have a piece of this card base here that we're going to use to layer on top of here. So, and it's going to go the full height of the card. So I have several pieces here. We're going to have, this is all going to go on this side of the card. So I'm going to layer this piece down first, just to put that down. Make sure I get things in order. But I did there. So this is just a piece of the envelope, and these are 5.5 inches. So the Misty Moonlight piece is 1 inch, and the card, the envelope piece that I cut is 3 3/4 inch wide. Okay. And I'm just kind of creating a 1/4 inch border there. And so we're going to add this on to here and just create another kind of 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to add glue on this one edge, and hopefully it can easily line it up here using the grid mat just to get it in the right place, like so. And I think that is perfect. Okay. Then I have a piece of gold foil. This has the little edging in it. I don't know what to call it. And I don't know what the actual name is, but it has like a little texture in it. And so we're going to add, this is just a 1/4 inch piece. And it's going to go right on top of the card base with the design. So now it's right at the edge of that card base. So you're not going to see any of the card base. It's just right at that edge kind of thing. So there we have that. Okay. And I have one other card that I will make for you, but the other side of the card base is what I am using to make that other card. Okay. And so I want to put this on here. I want to have about a 1/4 inch on the left side of the black card base, leaving like a wider black strip on the right side is the game plan. Okay. So this is just gonna line up perfectly. And actually I learned this somewhere else, but if I will make it line up at the top of the fold, then if there's excess, which it looks like I may have, it's easy to trim off without cutting my fold. Okay, so let me just burnish this down so it lays flat. All right, and then we are going to start to layer this up. So it looks like that's really flush, but I have some extra things happening down here on this end. So just getting that taken care of. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue this down with our multi-purpose liquid glue. And when I cut this out of the card base from the kit, I really, almost put that on upside down. That would not be good. I really tried to line it up so that I had the sun in my piece here. Okay. So I think we have that lined up. So now I can just get this smooth at the top where we want it. No. Okay. All right. So do think we have like a little bit down here. So I'm going to get my long scissors just so I can do this trim. I have a couple of layers on some of this, so not as easy to trim. All right, so there we have our card front. Okay, so that is that piece there. All right, then I am using several of the dies from the quarterly die set. So I cut out the label from the vellum, so you can see the vellum there. So we're going to use that. I also have the hugs that we're going to use as a sentiment. Okay. And then I have some other pieces that we're going to use to add on to the card front. Now, I have a little bit of the petal pink envelope and a little bit of the Misty Moonlight envelope that we're going to use probably to stamp a little sentiment on, but I'm just going to set them aside for now. Let me move those out of the way and all these other things so we can work. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and put on my my little vellum piece. And so again, I'm going to use glue dots for this. And I am just going to put a couple of glue dots on here to get this tack down. All right, and so that's going to go here. All right. So I hope y'all are enjoying all of these options. I wanted to kind of make up for not being able to join last week. And then we're going to have our hugs that is going to go across here, and it will actually cover up, because right now you can see those glue dots, right? And so what I want to do is cover that up for the most part. But for my hugs, I'm going to roll up some glue dots to put on the back of the hugs, just to give it a little bit of dimension. All right, so get these little guys on here like that. All right, so then let's go on this end and get some of these tacked on. So I hope you guys have enjoyed all of these options. I know this was a long one today, but like I said, I just really wanted to do what I could with this kit, because I think this is going to be probably the last time I'm doing alternates with it. At least I'm hoping I'll have my kit by next week, the June one. But if not, we'll figure it out. But I wanted to go ahead and bring you as many of these as I could today. And I think maybe one more. I love using the glue dots rolled up just to add a little bit of dimension to that layer. It doesn't give as much dimension as a dimensional, but it does provide a nice lift. Okay, so now I'm putting my hugs on here like so. And now you cannot see the glue dots anymore. Okay, so that's that piece. All right, so the next thing is I die cut several of the little flowers, and so I have a vellum one. I have one that I did out of petal pink cardstock. This is from the Misty Moonlight envelope piece. Now I also did, I took this, I saw, oh gosh, Chelsea Christensen did this with some flowers, I don't know, month ago maybe. Anyway, she had cut the centers out of gold foiling, and then just added it back to the flower to bring in some foiling into the flower. Now you could do this so many ways. Like you could definitely use your embossing, your Versamark to emboss with gold the center very easily, but we're just going to add the little foiling pieces right to the flower in the center. And so there's no magic necessarily. I'm just cutting off the little extra stems, and so there you have that. So you're going to have like a little flower like this. All right. And so I want 3 little flowers, so I'm just trimming these off, and we'll add those to the center of the flowers and do that. So just get all these little pieces out of the way and figure out my direction. Because the center of the flowers have those little pieces, the little markings. If the die cut all the way through, then you can really, you could lift those up, which we did in another video a ways back. I think it was last month. Now here, we're just bringing in some color, that's all. Or I should say some bling, maybe. So I'm just, again, taking off this little pieces around the stems and things. And just used scraps. That's what I used. I used the scraps from when I cut the leaves to cut out these little centers. Okay. And so let's get this turned around so we have it lined up there. All right, so those are our 3 little flowers with the foiling on the center, so you can see the little texture. All right, so let me get this off of here. Okay, and we're going to add our flowers. So this first one, I'm just going to use, again, the glue dots, and I'm doubling it to just add them in here. You know what? I don't want the vellum next to the vellum. So we're gonna, I wasn't thinking whenever I started that thought. Okay, so we're gonna have our first flower is just gonna tuck in right here, like so. And then we're gonna have our second flower. And I guess this one is the second one that I want to add. So it's just going to go right up here like so. And then this one's going to come in right there like that. So that's what we have so far. Okay. And now I have some additional leaves, and we're going to go ahead and trim some of these off. So I only really want 2 of these leaves. So I'm going to get those 2 there in the center. Okay. Then I used some of the items in the kit, the extra little die cut pieces. This is the, I'm trying to remember the color of this. I can't think of what it is. Pecan pie. I think it's pecan pie. All right, so I'm just layering up our leaves to tuck in, okay? And so I am just gonna tuck a couple of them in there. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the back of here to just connect them to start, all right? And I'm just kind of putting them off center to each other so you can see the, no, this is pecan pie. I think it's pecan something. All right, this is just gonna tuck in here. And I'm just trying to get it in a position to where it's underneath a little bit and hidden. So, all right, so I have that, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the back of these, like so, so that whenever I slip them in there, I could tack it down. All right, so that's the one leaf. Okay, now I'm gonna just add a couple of others. So I think I can use this one and this one if I tack these two together, the ones I cut off. And that may be all I need then. But I am just, again, kind of putting them off center to each other, but I want them to get tacked together. It's just a little bit, there's not a lot of stem to work with here. So just making sure I can get them together. All right, then we're going to go ahead and put a little glue on the back of these and tack them down right inside of here, like so. I'm just trying to hide the little stems there, okay? And so we have that, and I guess I do want one more. Let's see here. Let's see here. If I glue this little guy on top of here. All right, so then we have this, and we want to tuck this one in. Right there. Oops, needed to go over. There we go. Like that. All right. So there's our flowers. Oh, there's lots of bling on there. Look at that. Awesome. So now we just need to do a little sentiment to add to our hugs area. And so I wanted to use the I love you. And so I was trying to decide, do we want this to be under here saying I love you with this color or with this color? And I actually think I like this better. So we're going to use that, which is why we wait to decide. So thanks for hanging in there with me. I know this is going quite long today, so I appreciate you sticking around for this time. Where is my mat? Gosh, oh, I swear it could bite me if I didn't see it. All right, so we have that. We need our little piece here. And we're going to use the Misty Moonlight for this. Right here. And that's that piece. Okay. All right. And now I am going to grab my trimmer really quick because just try not to make crooked cuts. All right. So think about right there. Perfect. And then we're going to just add this right here to our card. So I'm going to get some dimensionals, these little mini ones right here. And then we just have one more card. It's not hard. I've got it all ready to go. Very, very close. But this one's going to go right on here. Like so. Right there. All right, what do you think? I love it. Very nice. So I do have a white piece for the inside. And you could, of course, decide to add anything you want to the inside, but just to kind of keep it, because I don't have a plan for that. I'm just going to leave it blank for now. I can always come back and add that in, but this came out really, really nice. I'm happy with it. So I hope you like it, and will let me know in the comments if you're just catching this on the replay. So because I'm not really seeing very many comments, so just trying to keep things moving along. All right, so this is the last one that we have, and again, similar kind of process, but a little bit. So again, I made this card right here using the piece of the card base that was left. And because of the size of this, I'm able to get 2 out of it. So that card base, I got 3 cards out of. So that's really awesome. And we're going to layer these 2 on. Now I did on the one that I already made, I don't know if you can see, but I did score lines 1/4 of an inch across. That was because there was a score line in the piece that I cut. So I'm not doing score lines here. I am going to add the gold foiling. I already have 1 flower with a center on it. So let's just quickly get this one put on. And then that will be done. So, oh, I have some rough edges I don't like. Okay, there we go. All right, so that will go on. And we're so close, folks. We are very close. And then whatever of the card base that was left, I used it to cut some of the flowers. So you can see there it has different pieces in it. This one comes from the envelope, so it's a part of the petal pink piece of it. So let's go ahead and put in our white, our basic card layer on the inside. Now you could again decorate this however you want. Let's see if I put anything on the inside here. So I just put You Mean the World to Me. We're gonna just move past that and just get the outside finished since we have already gone long today. All right, so I'm just going to add this piece to the card base, and I will give you the measurements just so you know. If you're watching this, you can get the measurements all the way through the session. And if you have any questions, feel free to always reach out. I'm happy to help however I can. So the piece that was cut from the card base is 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and the black basic black card layer is 3 inches by 4 1/4. So this is just going to get added to the front with dimensionals. Okay. Now I am going to add this gold foiling strip on the left side here, like so, and I'm just leaving, I don't know, not quite 1/8 of an inch. And it's kind of, I would say probably 3/16 of an inch, to be honest, because it's not 1/8, it's not 1/4, so it's just a little smaller. There, and then I do have a piece here to stamp a sentiment on. So we have our flowers. Let's do our sentiment, and then we'll add, since my linen thread was running out, I have another one here. We're going to stamp and then add, we're going to stamp the I love you. So we just used that a second ago. So let's do that in the misty moonlight. There we go. And then we will add some linen thread to the back of it. So I'm just going to put that right there. And that piece. Now, I'm just going to do my own cutting here. And now we're throwing caution to the wind right here and moving forward. All right, so I'm going to add a piece of tear and tape to the back of here. And then we're going to do a faux bow, a double faux bow. Again, this idea, I get this idea from Chelsea Christensen. She makes these all the time. But I do think that this is probably the easiest way to do it. So let's just take her lead. So I'm getting the kinks out of here. Okay, look how great that works. All right, so I'm just going to make a little faux bow on here and a double one. Okay, so I'm just going to have a little bit of my tail coming off the bottom, and then I am going to have the loop of my bow, and then I'm going to layer my thread down right next to that, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. And I'm being very careful to lay this down onto the tear and tape in the order that I want it. So now I'm going to flip to the other side of the tear and tape when I make this loop. And this loop is just maybe a smidge bigger than the other one. All right. And now I've looped over to the other side of the tear and tape. So all those are laying flat on the tear and tape. I'm not like doubling any of them or trying to bunch it up. I'm just keeping it pretty simple there. So now you can see that little faux bow. Now we are going to add dimensionals to this. So let me get those right here. And I like to use them on here and just tack down the little linen thread. So you don't need 3 dimensionals on this little piece, but I'm just using it like that to keep things tacked down. Okay, so now I have my piece I want to lay on to the card front, and we're going to use dimensionals for that. So let's just go ahead and get those put on here. And I don't know if I said it, but this card base is 4¼ by 11, scored at 5½. The layer piece that we put on the inside is just the standard 4 inches by 5¼ Okay, so we are going to just get this centered on here. I think we're pretty centered there. Okay. All right, so there we have that piece. All right, now we're going to put our sentiment on. And I didn't flag this one, but I am still going to just have it slightly coming off the edge there. Okay, and so there is our faux bow, our double faux bow behind the sentiment. All right, so now we have our, I don't necessarily love that these totally match, so I'm gonna put it down a little bit away from it, but I am going to use some mini dimensionals on here for these flowers. So they're just going to go right on the centers like so. And so first we're going to stick in our petal pink one, but so precious with that gold foiling like that. And then this one is from the card base. So we're gonna just have it up here like so, and I'm gonna bring it on top of that layer there. All right, so that is that. Now what I did add to this this card is the flat pearls, which are the 25 to 27 in colors. And I like this because it had the Secret Sea color. And so I'm just adding a few of these, okay? And I just use one of each size. So I'm just tucking them in around the sentiment, okay? And so I'm just gonna bring it right up here like so, and then we'll add the little tinier one right up here like that. All right, and so there is that card. All right, so there you have it. Let me just move some of these things out of the way, and we'll get all of our cards back out here. So we made this card today. We made this card, and that was one card base. Okay, then we made these. That was a sample and this card from another card base. Okay, as well as this card. So we actually got 4 cards out of that card base. All right, and then we got 2 cards out of the other card base that were the Fun Fold card. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So I know it was long. I know I've been here like twice as long as normal, but I just really wanted to make up for last week and get these samples out to you guys. So thanks for spending this time together, and I hope that you like the samples, and will leave me some comments. If you're watching from YouTube, please like my channel or follow my channel or subscribe. I don't know what it is. I'm not great at this. But please like and share. I do love to share the ideas of my alternates with folks. And if you are interested in being a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator and help you with your paper pumpkin needs. So thank you for spending this time today, and I appreciate you watching and participating. So I will see you next Sunday. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend and a great week ahead. Bye-bye.